Imagine a vast, scorching desert where rivers run dry and crops wither under the relentless sun until one bold leader discovers a way to turn useless salt water into a life-giving miracle that could feed millions. But what if this breakthrough wasn't just science, but a daring secret project buried deep beneath the sands, defying nature itself? Hold on, because the story of how Ibrahim Traoré shocked the world is about to unfold. And you won't believe the twists that turn despair into hope. Dive into the incredible stories of Burkina Faso's past and present on Faso Histories. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to join our journey of uncovering epic tales that inspire. In the heart of Burkina Faso, where the Sahel desert sprawled like an endless canvas of cracked, sun-scorched earth, life clung to hope by a fragile thread. The air shimmered with heat, and the horizon offered no mercy. Just dunes that swallowed dreams as easily as they buried forgotten rivers. Families trekked miles under a merciless sun to fetch murky water from dwindling wells, their buckets heavier with despair than liquid. Children, their laughter dulled by hunger, played in dust so dry it seemed to choke the very wind. Farmers gazed at fields that once grew millet and sorghum, now reduced to barren graves for withered crops. Their livestock too weak to stand. Water was more precious than gold, yet beneath the sands lay vast, untapped reserves of salt water useless, bitter pools that mocked the thirsty land. For generations, the people had prayed for rain, but the skies remained stingy, offering only clouds that teased without delivering. Whispers of change had long faded into skepticism, but a spark of possibility flickered when a young, resolute leader named Ibrahim Traoré stepped into the spotlight. A military captain turned president. He carried the weight of a nation's suffering in his eyes. His voice steady, with a promise that stirred hearts. He would defy the desert itself. Unlike leaders before him, Traoré didn't beg for foreign aid or pin hopes on distant rain. Instead, he spoke of a vision so bold it bordered on madness, turning the curse of saltwater into a miracle that could feed millions. In quiet village gatherings, he rallied scientists, engineers, and farmers, his words igniting a fire in those who had forgotten what hope felt like. "We will make the desert bloom," he declared, his gaze fixed on a future others couldn't yet see. But how could saltwater, the bane of crops, become a savior? The question hung in the air like dust after a storm. Unanswered yet heavy with possibility. Traoré's plan was shrouded in secrecy, whispered only among his trusted team, as if the desert itself might betray them. In hidden corners of Ouagadougou, late-night meetings buzzed with ideas that blended ancient wisdom with cutting-edge science. The people sensed something big was coming, but no one knew the details, only that their leader was risking everything on a gamble that could either save them or break their spirits for good. As the first experiments began in the shadows, far from curious eyes, the land seemed to hold its breath. Strange equipment rolled into remote desert outposts under the cover of night, and workers spoke in hushed tones about pits dug deep into the earth. What was Traoré planning? Could he really bend nature's rules? Or was this a dream too wild for even the bravest heart? The stakes were staggering. Success could mean fields of green where only sand had ruled, but failure could crush a nation already on its knees. Suspense rippled through villages, as eyes turned to the horizon, waiting for a sign that their trust in Traoré wasn't misplaced, that the desert's grip could finally be broken. Picture a man standing alone in the heart of a parched nation, his silhouette sharp against a blazing Sahel sunset, vowing to rewrite the fate of a land choked by drought. Meet Ibrahim Traoré, the young captain who became Burkina Faso's president and dared to dream bigger than the desert itself. Traoré's vision burned brighter than the midday sun, fueled by a refusal to let his people's future be dictated by distant powers or empty promises of rain. He saw the hunger in children's eyes, the cracked hands of farmers who'd lost hope, and he knew waiting for miracles wasn't enough. Instead, he turned to the very thing others called a curse, the vast, salty water hidden deep beneath the sands. It was a wild idea, turning poison into life, but Traoré's conviction was unshakable. In secret meeting rooms lit by flickering bulbs, he gathered a team of brilliant minds, scientists who'd studied abroad, engineers who'd built miracles in tougher conditions, and local elders who knew the land's ancient secrets. "We don't need foreign handouts," he told them, his voice steady but fierce. "We'll make our own water, our own future. His plan? Use the salt water no one wanted, transform it somehow into a force that could green the desert. It sounded impossible, like spinning straw into gold. But Traoré's fire was contagious. The team dove into experiments, mixing cutting-edge technology with traditional knowledge, sketching designs on dusty tables while the world beyond remained clueless. They pored over maps of underground aquifers, pinpointing where salt water lay like a taunting treasure. Every night, Traoré joined them, sleeves rolled up, asking questions, pushing for answers. But the path wasn't smooth. Early tests failed. Machines jammed in the desert heat, and skeptics whispered that he was chasing a fantasy. Yet Traoré kept his plans under wraps, knowing that rivals, both local and global, might try to sabotage a project that could make Burkina Faso a beacon of self-reliance. He called it the Blue Belt, a name that sparked curiosity but revealed nothing. Whispers spread through villages. Was he digging secret channels? Building hidden machines? The secrecy only deepened the mystery as trucks loaded with strange equipment rumbled into the desert under moonlight. Each step forward was a gamble. Resources were scarce, and one wrong move could drain the nation's coffers or his credibility. The team faced endless questions. Could saltwater really be tamed? What if the desert fought back, as it always had? Suspense hung thick, like dust in a windless sky, as Traoré's dream teetered on the edge of genius or folly. His people watched, some with hope, others with doubt, wondering if their leader's bold vision would bloom into a miracle or crumble like the dry earth beneath their feet. The stakes were sky high, and as the first secret trials began in the desert's heart, the nation held its breath, waiting to see if Traoré could outsmart nature itself. Imagine unearthing a secret so vast it could reshape a nation's destiny, hidden beneath the scorching sands of the Sahel where saltwater, long cursed as useless, becomes the key to a miracle. Ibrahim Traoré's audacious dream to transform Burkina Faso's barren desert into fertile land took a daring leap forward, cloaked in secrecy to shield it from a skeptical world. Far from the bustling streets of Ouagadougou, in a remote corner of the desert where only scorpions and vultures roamed, his team of scientists and engineers uncovered something extraordinary. Massive underground reservoirs of salt water, shimmering like a cruel mirage beneath the cracked earth. To most, this was a dead end. Salt water kills crops, poisons roots, and mocks the thirsty. But Traoré's lead scientist, a quiet woman with a mind sharper than a blade, proposed a radical idea. Bury the salt water in specially designed pits, lined with natural filters made from local clay and volcanic rock. The sun's relentless heat would pull pure water upward through evaporation, leaving the salt behind and feeding moisture to the soil above. Traoré, his eyes alight with possibility, named it the Blue Belt, a hidden network to defy the desert's grip. Workers toiled under starlit skies, digging deep through unforgiving rock, their hands blistered but hearts buoyed by the promise of green fields. The pits took shape, lined with precision to trap the salt and release life-giving vapor, but the work was grueling. Machinery groaned in the heat, and sudden underground springs flooded their efforts, threatening to drown the dream. Traoré himself walked the sites, his boots caked in dust, urging his team to keep going, sharing stories of ancestors who'd survived worse. The secrecy was suffocating. Rumors swirled in villages about strange nighttime deliveries and guarded desert camps. But Traoré kept the details locked tight, wary of foreign powers or local doubters who might derail his vision. Each pit completed was a victory, yet the question loomed, would this wild plan actually work? Could they really trick nature into turning salt water into a lifeline? The first test pits showed glimmers of success, faint moisture seeping upward, but the scale was daunting. Millions of gallons of salt water needed moving, filtering, and burying across vast stretches of desert. One misstep could waste years of work, draining resources and hope. Suspense gripped the team as they watched the first patches of soil darken with dampness, a sign that the impossible might just be possible. But the desert was a stubborn foe, and whispers of sabotage crept in. Tools went missing, and strange tracks appeared near the sites. Was someone watching, waiting to strike? As Traoré stood over a freshly dug pit, staring into its depths, the weight of a nation's dreams rested on his shoulders. The Blue Belt was alive, but would it bloom into the miracle he'd promised? Or would the desert swallow it whole, leaving only salt and silence? Picture a desert so vast and unforgiving it seems to mock every dream of life. Yet one man's relentless will pushes against its barren heart, daring to plant hope where only dust has ruled. Ibrahim Traoré's Bluebelt Project, a secret network of buried saltwater pits designed